Okay, we are live. We are live. Everybody in the chat right now, welcome. This is going to be a very special show. Portfolio reviews. We're going to get into it. So we're going to take a little bit right now to let people trickle in. We're going to be starting with the portfolio reviews at 6:40, so in about 10 minutes. So while that's happening, let's go ahead and get our guest in here. And in the meantime, just kick back, relax, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button for me. Making good content. But y'all give me a second. Just let me hook up some stuff in the background, and then we're going to begin in about 9 minutes now. Ryan Fontenot, I hope I said that correctly. Welcome to the chat. Glad you're here. Good to see your name in the place. Cry Doffy, hit the gritty. Man. Knight, excited to be here. Glad you're here. Haseen, welcome back to the chat. Glad to have you here once again for another weekend. CJ said, happy to be here, ready to learn. I'm ready to teach. You in the right place. Ryan said, working on my portfolio right now, so this is perfect. Hopefully you drop some knowledge tonight to help you out. Ashkan, greetings from Germany. Isn't it very early in the morning in Germany right now? Anyways, appreciate you for being in the chat. Glad to have you here. Adam Boyles, what's up? I'm doing good, my man. Glad to have you in here. Wish YT, salute to you. Glad to have you in here. Okay. Ashley Pendry, thanks for subscribing. Glad to have you in here. Okay. So we're going to give it about 7 more minutes right now. We got our guest waiting. He's ready. But we're going to let a little bit more people trickle in right quick before we begin. So that way we can allow people to get in here from the very start of it, get the context, and then get the knowledge. So in the meantime, if you all do have any portfolio questions that you just want to drop right quick, then feel free to do so. But once we get to 6:40 PDT time, we got our first guest. Then we will be checking out his portfolio primarily, but we will go over the profile and the resume, just to cover all of our bases. And then I know a lot of people were here for my last portfolio review with Nicholas. That was about 2.5 hours long. Tonight, we're going to keep them pretty short and sweet. That way we can kind of cut off all the flack and get to the meat and potatoes. Hopefully give y'all some more streamlined and fast content rather than drawing it out for the 2.5 hours. That Online Gamer says, hey, what's good? Glad to have you in here. Ashley Pendry said, mama's in the house. Welcome to have you in the house with us. Ashkan said it's 3:32 a.m. in Germany, and yet he's in this chat. Thank you so much for sacrificing your sleep, or maybe you took a nap to be here. But glad to have you in here. Dan Caboose McPherson, thanks for doing this. Of course, it is my pleasure. I love helping y'all out, and I think this is the best way to help out a wide array of people without having to do individual time one-on-one. Of course, one-on-one reviews are always preferred, but there are simply too many of y'all that need portfolio help to do one-on-one. So hopefully you can watch and learn by somebody else's successes, somebody else's mistakes, so that you can forge your portfolio around the feedback that you see given on this channel. Tron Volta looking forward to knowledge! Exclamation point W. We're gonna take away some wins tonight. And then Dale Pendry said Unc is in the house. Glad to have you in the house with us too. Okay. Got about 5 more minutes. Let people trickle in here right quick. And then we gonna begin. Okay, let me get some things situated on the back end. Okay, I guess we can start up some music in the meantime. There we go. Okay. You know what? Let's go ahead and bring in the guests. Let's go ahead and bring them in. So, Michael, are you ready? Okay. Michael, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We are live right now. Got about 3 minutes until we start things up, but why don't we just go ahead and start a little bit early so that way you can tell your story, where you're at. Are you a graduate? Are you still in college? And then, like, what are your goals? Okay. Move you over there a little bit. And then you pronounce it Michael Connolly. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. For the people in the chat, give Michael Connolly your attention as he describes what his goals are, what he's trying to obtain, and then his current situation, whether or not he's a student or graduate, so on and so forth. So, Michael, if you're ready to take the floor, no pressure. Just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you strive to be at.
All right. What's up? As you can see, I'm Michael Connolly. I'm a current sophomore at High Point University, in a decently small city in North Carolina called High Point. I'm majoring in game design as a bachelor. I'm again a current sophomore, and probably my biggest dream and aspiration is to be a game designer for a AAA company, or for my indie studio that I'll be talking about later to succeed.
Okay. Have you figured out what type of game designer you want to be exactly?
So the term game designer is different with every company, so it's really hard to like kind of just numb it down and specialize in one thing, because every company that I've like talked to so far is just completely different from the other. So still a little bit stuck on that, but still young, so I got time.
You do. Now, from what you've built so far, what is your affinity? What have you really been drawn towards or been drawn to learn more about?
By far, my favorite thing so far since I've started game design is Unreal Engine. That engine is just a masterpiece in everything. I actually started with Unity and made a game, and then just saw a couple videos on Unreal, and I was just like, wow, this is just a game changer. And especially with what's been going on in the news lately with Unity. I'm glad I made the switch over, and there's a lot of great companies in North Carolina that use Unreal. So
Good stuff. Okay, so before we get to your portfolio, we're going to take a pit stop at your profile right quick. Is there anything that you want to let me know before I kind of go through this, what you're thinking with your profile, any specific questions that you want answered about it?
one specific thing, you'll probably see the Modern Monkey Studios. Just to clarify what that is a student-ran studio that I started while in college. I started it last January, or really this January. So basically, it's just me and a couple of other students just started a studio. We started LLC, and we're about to publish a game next year on it. So that's the only thing I really wanted to tell you before.
Okay, sounds good. And you're a sophomore in college?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? Cool. Okay, so you do got time. Now to creep up on you. Not too much time, but you do got a little bit.
Yeah, it's been flying.
Okay. So I'm going to be looking through this profile as I'm not a recruiter, but I like to see things that bring out like, oh, this is very game designer-ish. Okay, cool. This guy is actually a game designer. He actually does this. He's actually presenting himself well. So I'm going to take you through my thought process as I go down the page. And then do you have a notebook?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So firstly, so we can establish a premise before going through this, a game design. You like game design. Is there any particular area in game design that you favor? So that could be player abilities, that can be level design, that can be like items, weapons, systems.
I feel like the biggest thing so far that I've enjoyed is systems. And I've played with level, and I do enjoy that. But by far, my number one thing is most definitely systems.
Okay.
That's what I've done in pretty much every game I've made so far.
Okay. What are some of the systems that you've crafted?
So a big one I made is I made three big games so far, but my biggest is my survival game, Demise. My number one thing in that is mechanic wise and system wise is just the crafting and inventory. That took me a long time, but it all works with multiplayer and just a drag and drop with a controller. That's what I figured out recently, so I can put it on Xbox eventually. Just that whole system, and right now I'm just trying to learn like how to create systems. So I'm kind of in a way copying other games, like it's kind of like Rust in a way and Arc mixed together. So I haven't developed anything like crazy new yet, but right now I'm just trying to learn. So copying systems from other games.
Gotcha. Okay, and before we start, I see that the chat is kind of blending into the background. So let me see if I can change that for y'all. Give me 1 second. It's not even letting me change the opacity of the background. Oh, here we go. And then I'll be sure to extend your time frame for this, so no worries.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Just want to make sure people in the chat can actually read other people's chats. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, so you want to be a systems designer. So you're still a sophomore in college, so you still have time. But let's go through it. So first, let's start off. Michael Connolly, great video game designer and developer, Unreal Engine, High Point University student, BA in game design, minor in computer science, looking for a career in the video game industry. So this is a common thing that people get into is that they overload this statement. So what I would recommend doing is just put game designer, and then you can put student, and then that's pretty much all that you need. They're going to click on your profile. They already see High Point University as an icon to the right. And you want to be a game designer. That's all they need to know. They don't need to know which engine you use, that you're a university student, or you don't have to draw out university student, but you can just put student, you can put sophomore. Probably even more impressive that if you put sophomore and they see the quality of your work, they're going to be like, wow, this guy's only a sophomore. Okay, let's keep an eye on him. So very much condense that. Just game designer,
Okay.
student, and then that's pretty much all you need.
Gotcha.
Then let's see, my portfolio, resume, and GitHub. Got all of those. Okay, this leads to your portfolio. Perfect. We'll get back to that in a second.
Okay. On that link that you just clicked, whenever you scroll down, there's buttons that says resume and portfolio. That's why I have all three.
Okay, gotcha. So you will need to split this up a little bit or make it a little bit more directed. But the fact that you have all the content right here is great. You just need to change the flow in which the recruiters are going to look at this. Because one of the things is that you click on it, it shows me this, and you're promising me my portfolio, resume, and GitHub. And then this takes me to another page where I have to look for those links. And you just want it to be like plain, simple, and clear right in front of you. Hey, this is exactly what I said was right here. I'm here to deliver. But having to scroll down, I may miss that entirely. I click on it. I don't even know that you can scroll down. There's no caret on there. Probably the website theme or something. But yes, make it clear and concise as possible. You kind of want to like take them through a tour of your home in a sense. So, bam, they walk in. Welcome to the living room. Okay, we got one bedroom back here. We got another bedroom back here. So you want to guide them through the house like you're showing it off. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to this. Okay, featured stuff with your game. That's great. See, you're about. I'm a current freshman, so you're a sophomore now.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy to forget to update all of these things. So no worries. So I'm a current freshman at High Point University, pursuing a career in video games and software design. My passion for Unreal Engine and game development has led me to develop 4 games, 3 of which are available to view on my website resume. You can download them on my GitHub and view my open source code at github.com/modernmonkeystudios. 2 of these projects were group efforts where I served as the project lead. Okay. I'm actually seeking internships in the game industry. Okay, contribute to my knowledge. So this is a lot. You want to be very strategic about what you put right here. So your about is what you want to focus on. So this needs to be, I am a game designer with a systems focus, and I plan to do this to achieve these phenomenal results. So you want to tell what you do and the result of what you do and make that unique. What is something that you can bring to the table that nobody else can offer? That's how you want to think. And then anything about your portfolio or your projects, you don't want to go into detail. The detail is in your portfolio. So you want to use this text box to advertise yourself and sell yourself the best way that you can and make them enticed to go to your portfolio. Okay. Then you said, in addition to my studies, I founded Modern Monkey Studios as a temporary project while in college to be able to publish my games professionally. Please note this isn't something I plan to do full time, and it's something simply to help me pay for college via the games I create. Great. Okay, you link your website again. And as a highly driven individual, I push myself to be the best that I can and do the best that I can be at everything. I'm excited to connect with professionals in the video game and software industry and to contribute to innovative projects. Great. So yeah, after they read the blurb, after you just sell them in this about box, then you can put your portfolio link at the bottom. So then that's the next step on where you want them to go.
Mm.
Now there is a little bit of controversy around saying studio founder, and I was the lead on this project in a college setting, because a lead and a founder for in college is drastically different from a lead or a founder once you graduate college. So it's two different things. So you have to watch how you market yourself online so that you don't come across as like arrogant, which is weird to think that because you don't mean anything by it, but sometimes it can feel like that. And it's like, okay, well, this guy's calling himself this, but once he goes into the industry, he's going to be an associate. So you really have to pay attention to how you market yourself. That's a little bit of a tricky case, but since you did found this studio, I'd have it on there, but be careful how you talk about yourself and don't make yourself sound like you've done it all. But you're still learning. So this little blurb up here about, hey, I've done the studio thing. It's temporary while I'm in college so I can publish games. That's awesome. Make sure that's known, because if a recruiter is looking at you, they're gonna like, this guy has his own studio, so why is he trying to apply for jobs? So you have to be conscious about that. Okay, experience, cool. Student, and then once you get done with your projects, make sure you put your projects under. Well, you can actually have, what I did on my portfolio or my profile when I first started on LinkedIn is that each project that I done in college, I added that to my experience tab, because that has a timeline, that has responsibilities, that has a title job, a title role, and then you can put that down as your experience. Or actually, do I still have it?
I think you do. I was looking at your thing the other day, and I'm pretty sure.
Let's see. Okay, so I since removed it, but I did used to have it. So I did have one for Doomerang, I did have one for Dialect Effect, and so on and so forth, and for Banish as well, because those were projects I worked on them, different roles. Okay. So that's pretty much all with your portfolio for right now. Yo, used to work at Domino's. I did too.
Yeah, I still do. I'm just on and off with it because I got to pay for school.
Gotcha. Your car smell like pizza.
Yes,
Yeah.
it doesn't go away.
Not at all. It's a fun job though. Very fun job.
Oh yeah.
Keeps you on the move. Okay. Honors and rewards. Great to have. Election to secretary. Cool. All good. All right, now let's move on to the meat and potatoes, which is your portfolio. So I'm going to close out that tab that I have open in the background. And then we're going to click on this. So I'm going to take you through the first time user experience of your portfolio and hopefully give you some points that you can walk away with. So clicking on this, I already said you promised me portfolio, resume, and GitHub all in one link. I would probably split those up. You can probably take out resume from that and GitHub. You could just say my portfolio. If you click on contact information, you have modernmonkeystudios.com/Michael Connolly. And then, okay, so you have this twice. So you can do your indie studio thing, but make sure when it comes to selling yourself online, you take me directly to you. As a recruiter, I'm not looking for a package deal. I'm looking at you because your profile interests me. And so you need to take them directly to your profile. So make sure it's short, simple, and easy for them to do so.
Gotcha.
So down here, if you can split this into multiple links, I'm not for sure if you can or not. I would put.
Yeah, I can make a link tree.
Okay. I would put your GitHub in this. And then Modern Monkey Studios, you already have that. And then make sure you highly focus on making sure they get to your specific portfolio.
Gotcha.
And then Dan Caboose said, also look to see how it flows on mobile in case someone is viewing it on their phone. That is a very important thing.
Yeah, I've tested all that on the portfolio side. It all goes together, but that is a good point.
Perfect. Okay. And then Dale said this format is very unique, spreading knowledge and helping both parties like it. Yeah, man, this is why we do it. Okay. So when I first get here, now which portfolio editor are you using to make this website?
I just use GoDaddy to make the entire website.
Oh, okay.
It's a website builder.
Gotcha. I have no experience with that whatsoever, but so I'll be limited in the tips that I can give you when it comes to or crafting elements of the web page, but pretty much all the same, just different ways to do things. Now, first thing that pops out to me is your photo, your cute dog, video game designer, phone number, email. That's a lot of information all at once. I would actually put this on the about page. You can have a little blurb of yourself when you first get to your portfolio, but don't make it take up the whole page, because I'm here for your content. I'm here for your portfolio. So if anything, I want your portfolios to be the main page.
Got you.
And then
that's the on the studio's website, because I have my portfolio linked onto my studio's website. That's one of my best friends under there. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So I'd say if you want to sell yourself, make sure you go directly to your own website. Because if I'm a recruiter, I'm coming through this, I'm getting trapped by, I don't know what you're trying to represent. You're trying to represent a indie studio, your team. I have to click too many buttons. Okay, where do I go to? Who is this? Okay, now I go to view portfolio, and then now I have more buttons. So let's see, let's go to my portfolio. So you click on my portfolio, here it is. These are all my projects right here. Simple and clean, there's no guesswork. These are my old college projects, but your college projects would be something like these up here. And then I have my about and contact page, simple and clean. And then I have my resume link right here. That's pretty much it. You don't have to look for things. You don't have to press too many buttons. It's all clear right here. Go back to my portfolio. I can click on this, and then this whole page encompasses everything that I've worked on, or not everything that I worked on for Warzone, but what I chose to show off. Simple and clean. Click on portfolio. I'm back here. There is no type of looking around or searching at all. So that's what you want.
Don't mind me asking, what did you use to make your portfolio? What portfolio builder?
I use Wix.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
I didn't know that.
So Wix, I tried Squarespace, I tried WordPress, I didn't try GoDaddy, but I tried quite a bit of them. And then Wix was the one that allowed you to have simplified website building tools, but you could make it as complex as you needed to. So they had the simplistic setup with the in-depth control that you need. So I always advertise for Wix. I'm not sponsored by them. I just like the way that I just like their flow. And so I highly recommend it for people who are looking for a portfolio platform, so that you can just kind of get straight to the point, and then you can craft the details later on. But really good tool to use. So, okay, let's go through this. Yeah, so right here, just make that your portfolio. So I guess if I click on this, view portfolio, okay, that's it right there. This is what I want to see at first, is this. Excuse me.
Yeah.
This is the meat and potatoes. Now I can already see, okay, he's into survival. Okay, he's made shooting stuff. Okay, he's made fighting stuff. Okay, this gets me hyped. This gets me interested. Okay, well, what did he actually do? I'm going to click on this, view demise. Okay, cool. Survival, Uncharted, an open world online multiplayer horror survival game. Great description. And then a little bit of background about what you're doing. These buttons, they have to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Because back to portfolio, mechanics, downloadable resume, coming soon. Coming soon, not great to use coming soon, because coming soon can be coming never very easily for a lot of people.
That makes sense.
Game development is hard. And then game preview, all of this stuff. You don't need to have these buttons, and I think these buttons are linked to drop down to different parts of your page, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay, gotcha. There's no need for that, as long as you sculpt your individual project pages to be read right after the other. then you'll be fine. So this is more of a formatting thing that you have to worry about, which if we go back over to my website, I click on, let's say, Warzone. I have the title, my role while I was there. I have a brief video to show kind of what I worked on, a little bit of insight about, the company, the overview, my roles, a little bit of breakdown of an event that I worked on. And then so I get to take the reader through the experience that I want them to go through. You don't let the reader or the viewer choose their experience. You're like, no, this is how I want you to view my portfolio, because this is how you get the most bang for buck out of viewing my portfolio. So you make sure you directly lead them through your portfolio the way that you want to. Don't give them any type of choices to make along the way, because it's just too much. So when you go to your webpage, you're like, okay, I'm ready. I'm buckled up. I'm ready to look at this game. And then you're like, oh, what are these choices? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, when you go to the store, you're like, what I want to eat? And it's like all these options. And you just sit there for like 10 minutes and you're like, I can't figure out what I want to eat. It's like the choice of too many options. If you had two, it's like, okay, great. I have two. I'm going to pick this one because I like this one more. It's better yet, if you only had one, you take out any type of thinking and then you can just streamline straight forward to the content. Okay, great. Game preview. It's awesome.
A little outdated. I need to update that video because I had a lot more mechanics. Basically, in that video, it's just showing like some mechanics, like the knocking down the trees, crafting, multiplayer, the food and water going down, stuff like that.
Okay.
And some basic UI stuff.
All right, cool. And this is great stuff. This shows that you have the technique to pull it off and that you're interested in systems and inventory and crafting. You got text, all of this stuff. So this is all great stuff to look at. You just need to break it down and look at it you need to break it down into videos, GIFs, and descriptions. Then you're fine. Now this harvesting system, advanced harvesting math, drag and drop inventory mechanic, crafting system, food and water mechanics, stamina sprint mechanics.
So all those videos just show the specific mechanics and descriptions, kind of like what you just said in a way.
Okay, great. So yeah, if you can get a GIF of these and just cut out the wait time of all of this, just show you straight, just like cutting the tree down. That's it. And then put that in the GIF format. So when you just scroll down, the video is already playing. Bam, you already got their attention hooked. They don't have to click on a button, no nothing.
I never thought about that. That's really smart.
Okay, let's see. Inventory system. So you have great breakdowns. You just need to condense this information into something that is going to be readable. Now, all of these red buttons, all of these YouTube signs, it's like red, 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 and your text is white. Red is jumping off on the page to me like, ooh, I want to click this. Ooh, I want to click this. So I'm completely bypassing your text because all of these red buttons in the YouTube logo is up. If you can, I would recommend trying to upload your video directly to the website itself, because you really don't want external links on your website, because if a recruiter clicks on your video on YouTube and they get distracted by another video, then you just broke their immersion of your portfolio. So that's going to look bad on you. But
one question with that, GoDaddy limits like the size of the video on the site. Does Wix do that?
I cannot remember.
I'll have
honestly, because it's been a while since I've been in the throes of portfolio building.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to check that out after.
Okay, and then I always show off this portfolio. I should probably be like giving Bader commission on this, but this is a combat designer that I work with, and you can see that the first page you get to is a portfolio of thumbnails. And then Tron Volta said, Tyvik, when you get a moment, what do you think of using ArtStation portfolios? ArtStation is probably one of the best platforms that you can use for art, because people go there for art, and you have artists on that platform giving you critique about your art, so you can only have positives on ArtStation. If you do want to break things down a little bit more and ArtStation can offer you that, then sure, make your own portfolio. But art really speaks for itself in terms of quality. So if you can show off your artwork and it's, you make somebody say like, wow, that is awesome, that's cool, that's badass, then yes, you can use ArtStation. But if you need to explain or break down that ArtStation's tools won't let you use, then making your portfolio isn't the worst thing in the world at all. But on this page, you can see that the trailer is up here, and then you have a slideshow of images that you can go through to show off different mechanics. So if you wanted to show off different harvesting elements or UIs on the screen, that you can have a slideshow. And then you can see here, he has where he has reference from the games that he took inspiration from, gifs from being in the engine, and then videos right here of him in the actual combat space testing out stuff. And then you can see this is all one column. There's no breaks, there's no buttons or anything. Yeah. You just read straight down from top to bottom, and it's very simple to follow. And so this is a format that I think works very well because you're giving the viewer like visual stimulation, then they can read about what that is, and so on and so forth. So that's great. A great thing to kind of be aware of. So I'm going to actually send this to you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I was about to ask.
Okay, so you can have reference for later. Okay. So I'm pretty sure. So I'm pretty sure that all of your pages are broken down in this way, which is really great. You did break stuff down. Excuse me. If you can get any paper designs in there as well, that'll also be awesome. If he's sketched anything or had any like post-it notes or something, that stuff is really cool to see.
Yeah.
And then wish list demise on Steam. Like, okay, you got the Steam page. You want to make that button pop. Like having your game on Steam and having all the description right here and all of this set up, that's great because that shows you're trying to really like market something and sell something in the long term. So I always think it's really dope when people have Steam links on their portfolio. Don't make it the main attraction, but beef up that button a little bit, make it a little bit more standoutish.
Got you. Would that be the same for Xbox too, pretty much? Like, because eventually, in a couple months, I'm going to have an Xbox page.
Yeah. Go ahead and do that. I haven't seen anybody particularly make a link to the Xbox thing, but sure.
I think it'd be the Microsoft Store.
Okay. Yeah, probably. It adds credibility to, your workflow and your pipeline because you're like, oh, this guy went an extra step to actually get it on a platform that sells digital content. So that's great.
Mm. Cool.
Okay, cool. Let's okay. So you're getting back to your basic portfolio page I've hit a snag. So I want to hit portfolios up here, but that's going to take me back to the page where you have both of y'all, and then you got to click on that again.
Got you.
So one thing that I would recommend is that you all have this Modern Monkey Studio website solo, and then you each have your both individual portfolios that is dedicated to you, but you share the website of Modern Monkey Studios. Because it gets too confusing when you're trying to market yourself solo, but you're linking yourself to a studio of sorts. So cut out any type of confusion that you possibly can so that the viewers that do come to your website flow very easily through what you're trying to get them to see. Okay, and then CJ said by default you have 500 megabytes of online storage for Wix. So not that much. But YouTube is fine.
Yeah.
YouTube, I would recommend for those smaller videos, try to make them GIFs if possible and only make videos for things that you actually need a full-length video to explain.
Yeah, like the game preview and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, social links, Discord, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Cool. Are those all for the indie studio?
No, those are all my personal ones.
Okay, so that's another point of conflict where you really don't know what's part of the studio versus what part of yours. So yes, I would
Mhm.
recommend go ahead and splitting that out so there's minimal confusion whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely gonna make a Wix page now.
Okay. And you say kindly scroll down or use the buttons below to view my downloadable resume, GitHub, project skills, and about me. No need for the kindly. If you're the man, you're the woman, you know you're a badass, then go ahead and speak like it. Be like, hey, check out my amazing content by scrolling down the page. And then bam, there's the projects.
I'll change that.
Because I like to
That
instill
doesn't make sense.
confidence in what you do. Because if you're
Mhm.
not confident of the things that you need that you've made so far, you need to make something that you're confident in. So selling is all about confidence. A person who has done less than you but has more confidence than you is going to get the job over you because they just knew how to sell what they had. But if
Mhm.
you do damn good work and you know how to sell that as well, you're an unstoppable force. So always be confident in the
Yeah.
things that you make. If you're not confident in the things that you make, then maybe you need to polish the things that you have made or make something completely different so you can feel proud of what you have made.
Mm.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
this is the home. Yeah, I'm not.
Definitely do that.
Okay, and
Yeah,
then
that's
this.
the homepage
I'll go
for
ahead.
the studio.
Okay, cool. And then now to let everybody know, and then to let you know, Michael. This this was originally supposed to be 3 guests on the show tonight, but now we have 2. So now we're going to extend this window by about 15 minutes. So even more time for Michael to get some feedback. So we're going to keep the ball rolling on this. And then around 7:25, we're going to take a little bit of intermission, 10 minutes, and then move on to the next guest. So let's keep the ball rolling.
For the rest of the stuff, it's basically pretty similar, just different videos and such.
Okay.
For the fighting game and zombie game.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just say this again. It's best to split out the company profile, the indie studio profile, and make it a standalone thing, and then you all each make your own individual portfolio, so there's no confusion. This is pretty much telling me everything that the other pages told me, except this tells me less of what I want to know. As far as big images on the page like this, this is the home. I see the logo. I don't see any text. This leads me nowhere. So I have to scroll down. Okay, there's some text. Indie game development built by students, the future. Okay, this is awesome. I can't click on this and do anything with it, but it's taking up the whole screen. Bam, I see a screenshot. I have no context for anything that I'm seeing right now. So this is kind of like a pseudo project page that isn't really telling me as much as your portfolio is. So I would go ahead and advertise Modern Monkey Studios through your own portfolio rather than trying to advertise yourself through this studio portfolio.
Okay.
And then contact us should be contact me. Our games are made by students for all of those who love the amazing games like Ark Survival Evolved, Rust, The Forest, and so many other masterpieces. So you could also add those to like GIF format. Say, hey, I referenced these games, which is awesome, and then I chose to do this myself. So that shows your inspiration and what type of games you play. Have a question or comment about our games, interested in volunteering for entry level experience in the industry. As said before, don't be scared to reach out to us. We're a small indie group and looking forward to anyone's feedback or questions. Now, this is just personal advice coming from me. Me and a friend group in college, or a friend group of mine in college, decided to start up a studio. It was called Maximum Height 9. 1 second, somebody's at the door. I'll be right back.
You're good. Probably Domino's. Thank you for complimenting the logo. at Domino's tonight. You tip your driver? Make a Domino's delivery game? uh, that'd be a little bit hard, but actually wouldn't be a bad idea. CJ, I completely approve of that message as the driver. Domino's games does seem like a good idea. I think my boss would like that. Yeah, I'd probably not put the logo in. Probably make the squares and the logo circles or something instead. That's hilarious, though. That's a good idea. What's up, Mr. Graham Gaming? Ever not pay Domino's royalties? I'll take all my money. The biggest takeaway I like so far is adding the GIFs or GIFs. I never thought about that. It's very smart. Instead of a million little YouTube videos like I had. Yeah, his portfolio reviews are awesome. I really appreciate it. Crazy taxi game with pizza delivery. That would be a good ad. Maybe I'll email the Domino's CEO. His daughter goes to my school. There's a video to GIF converter? That's genius. I need to write that down, actually. I'm definitely going to do that. Thank you, CJ.
Okay. Thank y'all for waiting.
No problem. I was talking to the chat.
Yeah, I heard you become a host for a little bit while I was downstairs.
Trying to be a content creator like you eventually, so I have to practice.
Okay, cool. Where was we at? Okay, yeah. So we're good. Portfolios, you already know what I said about that. Mm-hmm. Demise is over there in the corner. And I'm guessing this is the same page just on your personal portfolio.
Yep.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
Okay. So I'm going to just go ahead and wrap this up, kind of retouch base on everything that I went over for this portfolio or the profile of the portfolio. And then do you have a resume that you want me to look at as well?
Yeah, really quick, if you could look at the resume. That's also on the portfolio. Okay. If you hit portfolios and top, yeah, I got to fix that, like you said. The portfolio. It'll just say view my downloadable resume. It'll take you to a Google Doc for it.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to start from here right quick. So for your profile, make sure you keep it short, sweet, and concise on what you actually are doing. So game designer, you're a student, parentheses, sophomore. You're already doing good work at a sophomore level. That's a highlight. They're going to be like, we got to keep an eye on this guy. Cool. And then right here, make sure you just make that one link directly to your personal portfolio so they can go see all your glorious work. When you press contact info, make sure you have your personal portfolio like just highlighted, shining, and then you can have your GitHub link. And your modernmonkeystudios.com, or actually, just to make it as simple as possible, you could even, since you have this right here, or actually this is on Steam, but you can make one of these featured your Modern Monkey Studios so that it doesn't conflict with your contact information. And so you can just have your portfolio in here, and then I can get to your GitHub through your portfolio.
Really quick, this won't take that long. What is your opinion on adding, like, I've seen some people put in the featured, like, their games that they've made and, like, descriptions of that on their LinkedIn. What do you think of that?
On featured right here?
Yeah.
So you're talking about this first one right here? I think it's awesome.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't have known about this otherwise unless I go to your portfolio and then I'm like, oh, he has it on Steam. So this shows me, hey, he has this on Steam.
Okay, cool. Try and do that with my other games then.
Now, don't show off your whole catalog, only the ones that
Yeah.
you really want to show off, because you don't want to split the attention between multiple different projects. Okay, so going down here, okay, remember the about box, make sure you're just selling yourself. Like, I am the best person for the job. You're going to know about it. I'm going to describe to you exactly what I do, why I do it, and the result of what I've done so far, and what I strive for in all of my designs. Check out my portfolio. So you put that link at the bottom, get them to your portfolio, and then get them interested in, hiring you for an internship. Then experience, studio founder and coordinator. Would be careful with this. Might change this to something else, a title that you're going for or something, because studio founder and coordinator, CEO, sounds like you're already doing your own thing. So why should I even look at you? So do be careful about that. Game designer and a computer science student. That's awesome. When you do finish up your projects, you can put them under experience. They all have a timeline. You can all describe them, or you can describe all of them, and then the responsibilities. So that's great. So make sure you add those when you do get those in. Go over to your portfolio. The whole thing that I said about this portfolio is that you need to separate it out into your portfolio, your studio's portfolio, and then your team member, he needs to have his own portfolio. That's going to be the best way that you can make the most clear and concise, direct path towards showing somebody your content, because you have the breakdowns. You've done the work. You're just not guiding them through what they want to see. And so you need to do that with your portfolio by making you the star of your portfolio. Not the studio, not the team, you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then contact us, contact me, portfolios, that goes to your personal portfolio. Demise, go ahead and take that project off the top bar on your own personal portfolio. It should be that easy to find something. Bam, click on my portfolios. Warzone, The Last of Us Part 2, multiplayer, The Last of Us Part 2. Easy, college projects right there. If I want more information about it, I click on it. Bam, there's the page, intro video, all types of information, paper design stuff or Photoshop to in-game model, and then shows off my mechanics, my characters, whatnot. Videos right here, easy to see. All right, cool. Laid out fresh, clean, no hassle, no work. So make it that easy. And for everybody that's been looking at my portfolio and whatnot, sure, follow my structure, follow my design of everything, but make sure that after you copy what I have done, how I laid it out, you add your own spin onto it. So you don't need this color of text. You don't need all this information over here structured the same way. Make sure you put your own spin on your portfolio so you don't look like you just took all the information from me and then you just copy and pasted. Don't do that. It's a great learning tool to copy and paste, but make sure you really add that spin on it once you get familiar with Wix or whatever website builder that you have. Be unique. Okay, so I'm going to extend the time because I had to walk out for a second. So let's get to the resume. Okay.
And before you told me to write up 3 questions, when do you want to do that one?
We will do that at the end, right after this resume.
Gotcha.
Okay, so Michael Connolly, video game software designer and developers. Make that clear and concise. Figure out what you actually want to strive for. So if you want to be a game designer, say game designer, because recruiters are going to be looking at your actual title, not a title that you have made for yourself per se. They're going to be looking at industry standard titles that just immediately jumps off the page. So if you say, hey, systems designer or game designer would probably be better for you, since systems design is kind of a little bit into specialization. Game designer is a little bit more broad, and then plus you're still a sophomore, so you're going to have way more experiences of game development that you're like, maybe I like this more. But game designer for right now, just make that short, clean, and concise. Game designer. Or you can put technical game designer if you like to code. That's fine as well. Okay, skills, Unreal Engine proficiency, intermediate, Unreal. Okay, so any types of terms of proficiency. Now, there's controversy about this, but I don't like saying that, hey, I'm proficient in this, I'm intermediate in this, because you don't really have a great base of or metrics to actually measure how great you are. I have been in the industry for 5 years. I'm very technical with my designs. I know how to prototype from the bottom up to the finished product, but I still feel like I don't know a damn thing about programming or coding or design or anything. So there is not a metric that you can compare yourself to. And then plus, like, if you're selling yourself, you're like, I'm intermediate in this. What does that sound like? No, you want to make it sound like, yo, I am the man for this job. Confidence. I do this. So very, very important. Okay, let's see. And then Dan Caboose said, I like that it's one page, but you should try to fill up more of the white space. So one thing, there's two types of resume designs. One is you have just one column. The other is two column. So you're using the two column method, which you have your skills, your software experience, and your awards on one side, and then you have your other information on the other side. Now, what this can kind of do, remember how we talked about you want to guide somebody through the portfolio? This is kind of breaking that paradigm a little bit, because these two elements, this element right here, they're competing with one another. This element right here, these over here, they're competing with one another in terms of attention as you read down the page. And so it can really get messy, and the eye doesn't really know where to go when you're going down your resume if you use the two column method. Now, it works sometimes, but I'd err on the side of caution of using two columns because it's typically not needed. Now, let me pull up a portfolio or resume example for you, and then I'll extend this by like 10 minutes because of all the technical difficulties and somebody coming to my door.
Probably Domino's, wasn't it?
It was food delivery. It was Uber Eats though. One of my friends had used my address to deliver his food, and he forgot to change it back. Okay, topic start with resume design. Here we go. And then can I zoom in so this is on one page? There we go. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Excuse me. Okay. So you can see this is the one column method. You're never going to get confused on which pattern I want you to read in. So this is my credentials up top, my contact information, and then skills. These are the skills, programming languages, C#, Unreal, super clean, super crisp. Software, this is the software that I do know. That's phenomenal. That's great. Experience, Sucker Punch Productions, Technical Combat Designer, bullet points, High Moon Studios, bullet points, Naughty Dog, bullet points, Naughty Dog, quality assurance, bullet points, and then my education at the bottom. So super simple, short, clean. I don't have to figure out which side I'm supposed to be looking on. So I really recommend this model, especially when you're pretty new and it's going to change up a lot. And there's nothing more that reeks of newness and little experience than a resume that is kind of doctored up, which you've done a great job at not doctoring it up too much, which is great. But I would make sure that you use the one column method, as it's going to be a lot easier in the long run. But Let's go
Yeah.
to.
That's
Go ahead. Got a question?
one. I was talking to a programmer at Epic Games, and he did the same thing with the one column. And I was talking to him about it. Our school like teaches us to do the two, so it's interesting that like two professionals now have said the one column. I'll have to. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do the one column
Yeah, I've heard.
because what you said makes sense about bouncing back and forth. That makes a lot of sense.
Because once I say it, you kind of see it, right? You can see when you're going down. You kind of get conflicted.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, colleges are teaching some wrong things nowadays. Which I've heard some things. They're like, my college told me to do this, and I'm like, they steered you in the completely wrong direction, and this is why you're in the predicament that you're in. So, if you got any questions, let me know. Hit me up on LinkedIn so I can clarify some choices if you're just not too sure.
Gotcha.
Okay, but skills, basic coding, C++. Yeah, why's it gotta be basic? They don't need to know that. So you can just say
That links
C++.
into one of the questions I'm gonna ask you at the end.
Yeah, so technical design, system design, level design, these are all professional titles, not skills. So your skills are hard skills that you're going to actually be using. So hard skills for you, since you're going to be a game designer, is C++ and coding, and the software that you do use, like Unreal Engine. So listing Unreal Engine 5, you said you use Unity, so list that down. And then Unreal Blueprints, put that under code. So yeah, pretty much you would benefit from looking at the resume that I just showed you, and then I'll send you a link to, remind me to send you the link to the resume after we get done with this. Software, Unreal Engine, Unreal Fortnite editor. You've actually tried that. How is it?
It's very similar to Unreal. It's just a little bit different UI wise. I did that. I tried to learn it because I'm trying to get an internship currently with Epic Games, and probably be neat to learn.
Okay, cool. Okay, awards, experience. Yeah, see, I don't experience over here. Experience I would expect to be over here because this is your experience right here. This experience right here, not sure what this actually means. Then education, High Point University, and not get rid of the color text as well. You can listen, plain and boring resumes are in right now because it's just so simple to read through. So that's what I'll say about that. Unreal Engine 5.2 sole designer. So for all of these description, you're describing the product, not what you've done, which is a common pitfall to get into. You, on your resume, every bullet point should be a cheerleader for what you've done. And then if there is a result, then you need to have that in there as well. So it's like, I done so-and-so to increase the efficiency of this pipeline by 35%, 135%, 200%. It don't matter. Depending on how you view your result or the outcome of the result that you were able to make is how much percentage that you should put on there. Recruiters are not going to ask you, well, why did you feel like you increased that by 67%? They're not going to ask that. They're going to ask you, oh, well, how did you go about creating that to make that more effective? So be ready to explain it. But what you're doing right now with all of this is you're describing the project, a little bit about yourself. You're describing what you did, not what you achieved. And resumes should be about what you achieved, not what you did. If you describe what you did, it's going to feel like, or it's going to come across as like you've done a task. You don't want to make it seem like done a task. You want to make it seem like you've achieved something. You've done this. You've prototyped. You've iterated. You've designed. Like you live and breathe what you're talking about, not as if you got assigned it. So that's what I'm going to say about your resume. But I would remind me to send you a link so that way you can go and check out my resume, so that way you can see and decipher the wording that I choose to use in order to describe what I've done in a marketable way. But
Will do.
That's pretty much it. So what are those three questions at the end? And then we're going to move on to our next guest, which is Max. So Max, if you're in the chat right now, we're about to get to you. But first, we're going to get through Michael's three questions and then ask away.
Okay. So The first one I've written down is what should my main focus be besides my portfolio while I'm in college studying what I'm studying?
Your number one focus, especially as a game designer, this is for any single game designer in college right now or graduate, you need to figure out what type of game design you actually like. And that comes from just being in the engine and doing different things. So you have time since you're a sophomore, but you don't know exactly what you want yet, and that's fine. But continue to make projects and portfolio pieces outside of class. College is not going to get you the best portfolio out there unless you put in outside time. So what I would recommend to you is experimentation. Make sure you're always trying new things. Don't bottleneck yourself on the survival stuff. Survival is clearly where you want to go at, but do try to make some 2D stuff. It doesn't have to be anything big, but try it for like a week to make some 2D stuff, take some notes from that, and then move on to something else. But rapid experimentation so that you know what you're capable of, and then after time you can be like, well, I don't like these things, so you can trickle down. Well, okay, I can deal with those, but I don't necessarily am crazy about those, and then you can trickle down. And then eventually, since you've tried a lot of things, you'll figure out what exactly your affinity is and which domain you want to stick to and market yourself as. So that is very, very important. By junior year, halfway through, you should know what type of game designer you want to be because you've done enough experimentation to definitively say, this is my affinity. I love doing this. So that's the goal.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. The second one is a little bit off of game design. I mean, not really. I was going to ask, how do I start creating content kind of like yours, like just like the beginning stages? Because eventually I want to do like devlogs, Unreal tutorials, and some streaming stuff like how you do. And you do a lot of stuff on LinkedIn too, but mainly YouTube.
Yeah, you don't worry about that for right now. The one person that you need to help out right now is yourself. Once you get secured into the industry, by all means, make all the content that you want to. It's great to give back to people, but you need to pour all of that time into making sure you break into the video game industry before you try giving back, because all of that time that you spent making tutorials and lessons and helping people out is time that you could have spent on yourself in order to break into the industry. And it is extremely difficult to break into the video game industry. And so you have to really pour all of your energy and your time into self-investment before you start giving back. The only reason I'm able to give back right now is because I've been through the gauntlet. I've been through the fire. I've learned things that I want to now give back to you all. And I have the time to actually do that because I have the lifestyle that's comfortable for me. And I go to work doing the things that I want to do. And so now I'm in the position to give back, but you are not. There's still a lot that you need to learn. And so I would pour all of that focus into yourself to make sure that you could just get out of college, cut through, and then now you're in. That's no joke. Okay.
I think I thought about it like that. Thank you for that. Okay. My last question, it's very kind of unique in a way. So I actually have an interview with a company this Tuesday for an internship. It's a gameplay programmer internship. And it's a little bit heavy in C++ and a little bit of Blueprint. And I'm really good with Blueprint, but as you saw on my resume, I did put basic, and I'm going to get rid of that now. But I am basic in C++. And so it's a programming internship and not a design internship. So what exactly do you think I should say if they ask me something I don't know about C++, because I'm kind of limited as of right now?
Okay. C+ is a low-level programming language that has a lot of expert-level techniques in it that you'll need to know, especially math and computer stuff. So you have to really decide whether or not you want to go more towards game designer or programmer. If you are not too confident in your C++ abilities right now, then gameplay programmer is going to be very intensive for you, because gameplay programmer is kind of like working on the 3 C's: character, control, camera. And those are very much core parts of a project, and they require an immense amount of knowledge of C++ in order to pull off efficiently. So what I would say is don't try to upsell yourself for skills that you don't yet possess, but go into it. You know, if they ask you a question, then think about it, and then in an interview you can be like, okay, well, give me a little bit. Let me think about this, and then grab your notebook, and then write down some things. If you need help, then let them know that, hey, I'm having a little bit of trouble on this part. Can you give me some guidance on this? Make it a conversation. It's not an interrogation. But depending on how extreme the C++ is going to be in that job, then maybe that's something that you're not qualified for, but you never know until you actually get to the interview and you actually understand or listen to the questions that they're asking. So don't completely just lock up. Take a deep breath. Okay. Can you give me a little bit to think about this? Sure, fine. Think about it. That's what they're going to say. They're not going to be like, okay, well, you're really pressing on our time. Can you hurry up? They're not going to do that. They're going to be like, cool, fine. Take some time. You take that time. If you need help, then you ask them for help. Think of interviews as a collaboration. And if it's not a collaboration, then you damn well better make it a collaboration. And if they don't make it a collaboration with you, that's probably not a studio that you want to work for.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it's okay to be like, hey, I don't know this, but, do you have any information for me about this that can help me get to a conclusion or an answer? And then they should be able to do that. So think about it that way.
Cool. I certainly will. I appreciate that.
Of course. Any other last statements that you want to make before you get out of here?
Wishlist my game on Steam. That's about it.
All right, you heard him. And if you want to paste that in the chat, go ahead. Let the people know about your product.
Cool.
But Michael.
All right. Well, thank you.
Glad to have you on here. And then once you make those changes to your portfolio, reach back out to me. We can review it again and then go from there.
Okay.
And then to everybody in the chat right now, especially you, Michael, don't go nowhere yet. 1 second. One of the best things you can do with somebody that gives you advice like this is to honor it, put it into action, and then get back to them and say, hey, I have implemented the changes that you suggested I made. That's how you give back to the people that you ask questions to. You put their advice in action. So with that said, Michael, I'll be looking forward to getting back in touch with you and then looking at your new portfolio, and your resume when you actually get that touched up. So reach back out to me. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Appreciate it.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to be looking at the chat. Michael had the spotlight while he was on here, and it's hard to kind of give feedback to him and look at the chat at the same time while keeping everything smooth. So if you all do want to have any comments or chats that you all want to ask me or tell me something, then go ahead and drop those in the chat box right now while we go over and switch over to our next guest, which is Max. Put the music back on in the meantime. There we go. I need to drink some water right quick, y'all. A lot of talking. Do y'all know where this music is from? Knight said Castle Crashers, you got it. One of the best 2D Flash games ever made in history. Okay. there we go. Can you hear me loud and clear, Max?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Okay, let's get to it so we can get you to bed, yeah? So,
Not sure I'm gonna sleep.
if y'all don't know, for Max, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. What time is it over there on your end?
It's close to 5 o'clock.
Close to 5 o'clock, yeah. So, let's go ahead and make that all worth it. Okay, and then 1 sec, I'm gonna just pull up your portfolio page right quick, and then we'll get to it.
Sure.
Your profile page first. Okay, Max in Salem. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yes, that's it.
Max in Salem. It's the first time I heard that last name. It's a really cool last name. Okay, so now we're going to start this up. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background. Are you a student? Are you a graduate? What type of role are you striving for? And so on and so forth. Anything else you want to tell us? So everybody, Max.
Sure. So my name is Max. I've been working in the game industry for 3 years now. I started as a game design intern. Now I'm a lead designer on a small team on an indie game company. And I wanted to be sure everything was up to date for me, portfolio-wise, and wanted maybe to break into the AAA industry in the years to come, because I'm working on indie game projects on an indie company, which is very not the same. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, right on. So I see on your profile right now that you say game and technical designer.
Yes.
So
I really love prototyping, programming, and really love working on my designs from the prototypes, testing things, and then releasing it.
perfect. So you can actually switch that to be technical game designer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 'Cause technical game designers are tech and design mashed into one. And then that's going to make sure that you have that industry standard of a title role, which is technical game design.
Okay.
Cool. You got the banner in the background. Unity, Unreal Engine 4, C#, Blueprint. Nice. Tells me exactly what you're about. I've actually never seen anybody do that, but that gives me a really good look into what you've done so far. That's awesome. That's cool. Okay, 3 years experience. Okay, Greater Lyon area. So you're looking for AAA. And do you have a visa to work in the U.S.?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm mostly looking for remote roles right now.
Okay.
But I'm not actively looking right now. But I'm open to. I'm searching there and there. If there's some roles open, I apply.
Okay. So one thing that I will let you know is that it is best for you to get in contact with a recruiter that can give you the behind the scenes insight on how a studio deals with individuals who don't have a visa yet, because that process is wildly different. And if you don't figure out exactly the pipelines that you need to go through, then you will just be throwing your applications into the void. So
Okay.
I would recommend reaching out to at least 5 different recruiters that are reaching back out to you in order to get a different take on how a small study of studios incorporates workers who don't have visas as how they view applicants. So that's very, very important. That'd be the number one thing that I would tell you right off the bat, is to figure that out.
Okay.
Okay, your about has your website in it, game and technical design. How how do you say that studio name?
It's
Adip-
Atypic Studio. Yes.
I can't
Like
do the accent.
atypical. Atypic.
Atypique. Okay.
Yes.
Atypique. Gotcha. All right. Driven by hard work and focused on problem solving, I am comfortable using the learnings from several types of tools and programming languages. I use my technical skills to rapidly create prototypes to test my systems. I'm currently working on Noara. Is that how you pronounce that? Okay.
Yes.
Noara, the conspiracy. Oh, the conspiracy, a turn-based PvP tactical game on which I design and prototype new systems. Great. So you're telling me what you're doing and what you represent, but you're not selling yourself. So you are now technical game designer is very niche because it's kind of a rarity that people have a great sense of design and a great sense of technical abilities. So this is a very niche role. It's not very commonplace. So it's pretty awesome that you have this skill because you have a lot of leverage. And so if you like prototyping, you like taking things from paper design to a prototype to the polished product, then you need to find the wording that describes you uniquely about, yo, this is how I operate. This is what I strive for. This is why you want me on your team. These are the results that I can provide for your team. You really want to sell yourself for this about section. Get rid of your portfolio link right here. You can put a link. It should be in your profile settings or something where you can put a link right in between the Greater Lyon area and the 313 connections somewhere up here to where you can just have that highlighted blue and then bam, that takes them off to your profile. I think you also have your website and your contact info. That's pretty much where I go when I want to look at anybody's portfolio. So that's great. But sell yourself in this box. And then at the end of it, then you can put your portfolio link there because you've sold yourself as in a snippet. They want to see more. Bam. They copy the URL to your portfolio and then they take a deep dive on what you've actually done.
Okay.
Top skills, design, technical skills, scripting, Unity, C#. Love it. Featured, resume, portfolio. It's awesome. Okay. Antipic Studio.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but
No, it's all good.
Okay. Okay, lead game designer. Permanent. I guess how big is your team that you're working with right now?
As a designer, I work with 3 designers and the 2 QA.
2 or 3. Okay.
I'm leading.
Okay, got you. So one thing that I would, let me read this before I give you the feedback. Okay, my task. So change my task. Just completely eliminate that because you don't want to describe them as tasks. You want to describe them as achievements and grand feats. Mr. Grim Gaming, hi Tyvik, is Brian from LinkedIn. What's good, Brian? Glad to have you in here. Love the support, man. And then Archlight said, is Tyvik reviewing people's LinkedIn from this chat? Yes, I'm reviewing the LinkedIn and then the portfolio and then the resume. So I'm kind of doing the whole trifecta right now to make sure that the guests on the show get the full treatment instead of just looking at the portfolio. Because often LinkedIn is the first gateway that gets somebody into your portfolio. So you need to make sure your LinkedIn portfolio is on point. Okay, let's continue. So, okay, a lot of great projects. You have images right here, or those are external links rather, which is great. Okay, cool. Let's go back to your profile for right now. So lead game designer might be fine in this context. Leading a small team of 3 designers, design and ownership, different systems, AI, MMR, tooltips, skill, data collection. What is MMR?
Matchmaking rating
Okay.
for matching players.
Got you. Make sure you spell that out.
Okay.
You can never rely on abbreviations for anything because you might run into a recruiter that doesn't know it or somebody like me who doesn't know what that is. So it's always good to spell those out. if they're not overly common terms for the video game industry.
Okay.
Like AI, we know what that means, so no need to do that. Rapid prototyping on Unity using C#. Content design, new units, new items, new game modes. Great. Writing and updating the GDD. Awesome. Yeah, so it is good to keep lead game designer on here. I think from what you've done, that describes what you have been doing. And then I would sell yourself right here. I would actually work on your resume first and then bring over your resume items into this, because on your resume, you're trying to sell yourself. And on the descriptions right here, you need to sell yourself as well. So I think what I see a lot of people do is they actually put their resume on what they've done right here. And I kind of like that. I'm not for sure exactly where that stands with the recruiters, but it just gets into the meat and potatoes right away. They don't have to click on any links. If they're curious about the studio, they can read a small description and then they're like, bam, this is what he's doing. These are the results of what he's doing. This is what he's achieving. So work on your resume and then come back over here and then make every single bullet point your cheerleader about your achievements and the results, if there were any, not just what you've done.
Okay.
And then Hassine in the chat says something to you in French. Okay. Okay, great. You got external links. Game and level designer intern. Perfect. I would describe a little bit. Oh, let me see. There we go. Yeah, so again, get rid of anything that says my task. You know this though. Released on Steam with more than 230 reviews and thousands of downloads. You should put this at the top. That's an achievement.
Okay.
So yeah, you want them to know about that. Anything that you release commercially and you've gotten positive reception on it or 230 reviews, put that at the top. That's credibility.
Okay.
Great. Graduation project. Great. Game designer. Yeah, so you're showing your content, you have pictures, you have external links, you're describing what you've done. You just need to change those into achievements instead. What is it? Did you get box art created for this, or is this just a mock-up?
It's the box of the game.
Not bad.
I've not done it, but it was to show.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's a board game I worked on as part of an internship.
Okay, that's cool. That's really cool. Okay. Yeah, so I have nothing further to say about this. Just kind of clean up the wording a little bit.
Okay.
Celebrate yourself and your achievements and change those tasks into achievements. But overall, really good. And then I don't know if this actually really matters, but you have 313 connection requests. Whenever I look at a page and I'm like, oh, they have less than 500, it's like they don't get on LinkedIn that much. They're not networking. A recruiter might tell you something completely different, or somebody might tell you completely different. But when I look at somebody else's page and they have 67 connections or 200 and something connections, 300 connections, for me, that means that you're not established on LinkedIn or you don't network enough. So you might want to go ahead and just add some connections here and there from the people that you find interesting, and then get that number up to 500 progressively.
Okay.
Don't do it overnight, but
yes.
steadily
Sure.
build that up.
Not sending thousands of invites.
Yeah, but all in all, you have a very appealing profile. You just need to clean up some stuff, market yourself a little bit better, but overall, this is great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now let's go to the portfolio, because that is a really great art. So I'm going to click on that as a recruiter because it pops out to me. Okay. Then you have your name up here and then game designer. Great. Hi, I'm Max, systems and technical game designer with 3 years experience. So let's go back to your LinkedIn profile right quick. I want you to see something. So right here you have game and technical designer.
Yes, but the subtitle as
the
portfolio. Okay.
So down here you have lead game designer, game and technical designer, lead designer and technical designer, game designer. And so if you can standardize those titles, because when you go to your portfolio, then you have game designer, no technical. And then you throw in systems, and then you go back over to technical game designer,
Yes.
which is what I told you that you should market yourself as. So that's a lot
Okay.
of title craft going on right now, which is fine, but just something to note. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, I'm comfortable with Unity, Unreal Engine, and C# programming, and use it to iterate through fast prototypes to test my systems. So if you are fast with the prototyping, you can say I'm blazing fast with prototypes. And then don't say I'm comfortable, say I am highly skilled with Unity, Unreal Engine, and C# programming.
Okay.
Give yourself the credit you deserve. Okay, so when I get to this, I'm like, awesome, this is cool, okay. Now here's where you kind of lose me, which this, I recommend. Now see, this is more of a personal thing, but I don't recommend people using the full width of the web page for their website, because it takes up too much of the screen and it makes it look a little bit less focused. So if we go over to my portfolio, you see that all of this over here and all of this over here is blank space. And so your attention is really dialed in on the center of the screen. There's not too much that you are required to look at or look through. So it just looks a little bit cleaner. If you're doing like product design or you're selling something or you have a business, then I think those wide ratios on the screen are great, because it's adding creativity and the whole mood of the product. But when you're trying to lay down information to somebody, I think that's a little bit too much of a scope to look towards when you're looking at the screen. So if you dial that back in, that's going to be better for you in the long run. Okay, so when I get here, Noara is so huge. I'm captivated. It's like great screenshots right here. And I'm like, I want to learn more about this project. Let me scroll down. And it's like, oh, wait, another project. Oh, then I have to scroll back up. And I'm like, oh, check project. Okay, I click on this. It's right here. Okay, still not the project. The trailer. Let me click on that. That's going to bring up the video. Okay, cool. That's fine. Let me see more. Okay, so this page is what I want to see after I click on, I guess, a thumbnail. So because your page is, all the way to the bounds of the web page, it makes it hard to actually find what you want me to interact with.
Okay.
So if you go to LinkedIn, they have it pretty centered. If we go to the home page, they have it centered because you're reading information. You don't want to read information over here, and you don't want to read too much information on this side. There's a reason for that. So I would have a page where you have thumbnails, kind of like this. Bam, super simple and clean. Here's a project, there's a project, there's a project, there's a project. I can click on it for more information. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Then I'll scroll down. Let's go to see more. Okay. Great description at the top. System designer, technical designer. I would, if you can, put this under the name, because I want to know what you actually did on this project immediately. And then you can get into the nitty gritty details. And then about, great. I would expand all of these. I don't want to click on every single section in order to see your information. And then there's a lot of stuff. You see, there's a lot of stuff going on.
I can send you the password by LinkedIn if you want.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Okay, this is lock MMR system. Wait, why did it populate like that? That's weird. There we go. Okay, cool. Well, I don't need to really go in there. But I would say make sure that you have the content laid out in the way that you want somebody to view it. Like I said with Michael, do not make me have choices when I'm viewing your web page. Take me through what you want me to see.
Okay.
Then so I click on this project, bam, what I did right there. You already have the description stuff on your website, which is great. My roles and ownerships, and then I give a breakdown, and you can read it in chronological order, straight down the page, very sequentially. So let your page flow like that to where all I have to do is just scroll down. I'll keep on scrolling down. And that's what you want to do for that. Okay.
Peggy 16.
Cool style, great animations. And then you said this is you leading a team?
Yes,
Okay.
a team of designers.
Yes, see, this is great. Great presentation. Good animation, good quality game. This looks very professional. Now, the disservice that you're doing is that you're making people have to click through everything in order to get the information that should be
Yes,
given
okay.
automatically. So if you just clean that up, you're going to have one hell of a page, because this is interesting. The concept art is interesting. The style of it is interesting. Just the style of it oozes creativity. And this is awesome. Like, do y'all see how
So-
cool this is in the chat? Like, chat, do y'all see how cool this is? Like, this is awesome.
So you just open all the tabs on
Yeah.
the page.
Yeah, I would love to just be able to scroll down like, oh, this looks sick. This looks cool. Whoa, like, this is awesome. Yeah. So that's like, this is way more high quality work than pretty much any portfolio review that I've seen recently. You already have a working game. This is something that's marketable. You can sell this already. And so this is really something. Now, whether it's fun or not, I don't know, but it looks cool. It looks like you know what you're doing. And then the fact that you're leading this as well means that you know how to lead a team. You know how to make a game that feels cohesive and concise and just well put together. So structure is the only thing that I can say about this. Everything else, the presentation, you don't need too much presentation because the game speaks for itself. Like it's that quality. It's that polished already.
Okay.
So just make sure you don't require me to make decisions while I'm looking at your content.
Okay.
Okay, then about hard skills, soft skills, stuff over there. Cool. Okay. Make sure you have a picture of your face in the space, just so I can look at the face while I'm getting to know about you, so I can match those two together in my mind. Okay. Then again, technical game designer, systems. Cool. Currently working on Noara, turn-based. Have a game/level design diploma. This is the money. These different skills allow me to have a transversal vision of the video game development process and to know the constraints of different departments. That is the core golden soft skill that you need in order to market yourself as a badass designer.
Okay.
If you're a technical
That's what I should put in my about page in LinkedIn.
Yes. Like that is a phenomenal skill that not too many people have. Like that's the reason why I'm so successful, is because I do have those. I have worked with all the pipelines before. I know how they connect. I know what makes one stand out versus another. I know which one complements one another. I know which ones don't go well together based on a lot of like experience and theory craft and game design expertise. So knowing how to collaborate between departments and use them in the best way possible efficiently, and so you can hit a high quality bar that's going to be phenomenal for selling yourself.
Okay.
With the high quality bar of the project that you just showed me, plus you know the pipelines of different departments and you've led them and you've made this product, you already have a hell of a lot of leverage for applications. And I think the only thing that would be holding you back from getting the job that you would want is the whole visa situation. So
Yes.
you really have to get in
Speak to
touch
recruiters.
with a recruiter and get that information. Because I think that may be the one thing that's, I don't know how long you've been looking, but that may be the one thing that's going to hinder you along the way, is that.
Okay.
Okay, yep, same thing here, which you know about. Yeah. Let me see. Half Pint said this already looks professional. It does. Ryan said AAA quality. Yeah. And then Tron Volta said it's freaking cool AF. So you
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, so already high level of polish. You're not doing anything too extreme with the gameplay, but you have a high level of polish already, which seems to be your strong suit. Then you led this team as well. Great.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and then like for lead designer, technical designer, level designer, you can, let me see what information you actually have under these. You can put these all in one section. So let's see, technical designer, level designer. Yeah, so you could put this under something like my ownership, my role and ownerships, and then you can have subsections under this that has like game designer right here, and then level designer, lead, so on and so forth. But they don't each need their separate section. They can all fit under one primary. Hey, these are my roles and ownerships.
Okay.
And then contact. Oh wait, am I on the contact page? Okay, so I click on contact, it takes me to the about page. So just a simple cleanup right there to make sure you just have your contact / about me page in one page. That'll be fine. Okay, then this is a stylistic choice, having this information in 3 columns. That's fine. But I would say overall, maybe a profile with, one centered column might be best for you, because it's really hard to read information on one extreme side of the screen versus the other extreme side of the screen. Weird thing to think about, but it matters. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. That's what should be the main page. That should be the main page.
Okay.
Yes. That should be the main page. Nice. And then Knight said his quality of work looks very consistent. It does. And then Hassan is still saying something to you in French that I cannot read. So check out the chat when you get a chance. And then Hassan said, yes, I agree. The quality of his work is really consistent. So, and then also for this, I would add in the year. If you made these across several years, then I would actually add in the year to that as well, maybe. So I can see, so I can get a sense of timeline without having to click on each of these projects.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and then, yeah, right now, I still the whole thing where condense it in the middle, probably make it a little bit more approachable. This is like a lot in my eyeline right now, but cool. No conspiracy. Go straight to that page. This is exactly what I'm looking for from the shadows. Click on that right there. Hell yeah. That's an awesome background, by the way. I like you using the game as the background for the page. Really sets the mood and the theme. Yeah, great choice.
So my main page should just be my main banner, and then my project.
Yeah, so right here. Wait,
Yes.
say that again.
My main page should just be my project, this page.
Yeah, take me straight to this page.
Maybe just one little paragraph about me.
Yeah.
About me, and then.
Yeah, so you can, let's see, do you have it anywhere? You don't, but you can add like a little section like up here, not too big, that has your face on it, and then a little summary, and then you can still see the thumbnail of your projects below.
Okay.
So like if let's say the Noara thumbnail and the From the Shadows thumbnail, whereas your personal like description of yourself, I should be able to see the projects down here, so I know that, hey, I have to scroll down.
Okay.
Okay, and I see you have Global Game Jam 2020. So yeah, so like 2020, okay, now I have a timeline. Now I can see the progression and the timeline of his work, how he's progressed over the time, so on and so forth without clicking.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Graduation project. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. So your contact is down below, so you're just scrolling. So I would
just with one link and.
Yeah, I just make that into one link and then just say about/contact.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Then you say, I'm also a fast learner, allowing me to quickly become efficient on a new task. Companies love that. Yeah, quite frankly, I would remove this page entirely.
Yes, okay.
And then just go straight to projects, have a portfolio pick at the top with a little bit of summary, and then just have your projects right there. This art is beautiful. This art is compelling. This shows me that some action is happening within your game. This is a tabletop game, which looks interesting. This is some awesome looking stickers about wildlife. What is happening in this level design? I want to click on it. What is happening? And then, oh, okay, this is looking like a little bit like Tomb Raider. So every single thumbnail you have on this makes me want to click on it. So you don't have to do too much at all.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so let's move on to your resume. And then I would add your resume in this page as well, or a link to it. Okay. Okay. Cool. Love the template.
Might look a bit familiar.
Just a little bit. Okay. Max and Salem. Is there a reason that you have your last name capitalized?
No.
Okay. So just one of the first things I noticed, so it'd probably be good just to have that be standard. E is capitalized and the rest lowercase. Technical game designer, great. Okay, got the link. Skills, C#, Unreal Blueprint, great. Software, Unity, Unreal Engine, Photoshop, Google Suite, Office Suite, perfect. Lead of a small 3 designer team. Okay, so this is the kind of like what I was telling you before, is that don't write these as tasks, write these as your own personal cheerleaders for each bullet point. And so tell me your achievements and the results, percentaged if you can. Design it on the MMR system. MMR, describe what that is. Based off ELO. What does that mean? Oh, I can't think of it.
Okay, I should explain everything.
Yeah, it's always a safe bet to make sure that you structure your wording to where somebody's probably not going to know what you're going to abbreviate, so just write it out. Or you can say ELO if that's what people know it by in the community, and then in parentheses you can spell it out.
Okay.
And true skill for our 2v2 and 1v1 game modes. Okay, design an AI system in collaboration with our development team. Okay. Prototypes and game design features on Unity using C# in order to test them before developing them. So really with this line, prototype some game design features, what are those? If you can be specific, then be more specific. So are those system features? Are those ability features?
Okay.
A little bit
so,
more
so
specific.
maybe instead of saying that, maybe for each things I prototyped, each things I worked on, I say I worked on item systems, prototypes, something like that.
Yeah. So the more specific you can be, the better. Okay. And let me see. And then Ryan asked, you made all of these over the last 3 years. So did you make all of your projects over the last 3 years?
Yes, from the shadows, it's my graduation project. So it was 3 years ago. Yes.
Okay. And then Tron Volta said, Tyvik, would you have any quick tips for cover letters? Thanks. That is a whole different topic. One of the things about cover letters, though, is that if you're having a hard time trying to design a cover letter and you just can't get into it, then maybe you don't enjoy the product of the company that you're actually applying for. So you can see cover letters as something that is an annoyance to write, but is actually a really great test to see if you're actually invested in the product that you would be working on in the first place. So like I played League of Legends for a number of years, and I wrote a cover letter to Riot. I have a lot of content and a lot of love for Riot's products, so I'm able to craft and write a cover letter pretty easily. But on the companies that I was just like, I'm just looking for a job, I'm like, I just stare at a blank page for an hour trying to figure out what to write because I feel like I'm selling myself short because I'm not going to be in love with the company that I'm applying for. So I'll go more into depth about that later. There is some things to note about cover letters, but too long for just a small blurb. Okay, for Intipic Studio, make sure this is all one thing. You have different title roles here, but this is still the same development life cycle. Okay. And then if you want to figure out what you want to market yourself as, a lead game designer, a systems and technical game designer, or a game and level designer intern. But it seems like, hey, lead game designer can cover all of those bullet points. So condense that down to one. You'll have more space to write out the achievements that you've done, and it'll clear some things up because it seems like different studios that you've worked for, but it's just one.
Okay.
Okay, so from the shadows, lead game designer and technical game designer. Remember to, at this point, if you have actively led the games that you've created, then you can put lead game designer, and then you can structure your bullet points under there to show your technical prowess as a designer.
Okay.
Or what you can do if you do want to leave it up there, because that's what makes you feel confident in selling yourself, then you can put lead game designer / technical designer. It looks a little bit cleaner.
Okay.
It makes it come across as you've juggled both of those things instead of doing both of those things at one time. Okay, and then led a 5 designer team. What did that result in?
Okay. So instead of led a 5 designers team, I could say led a 5 designers team to the release of the product. Maybe something like that.
Mm-hmm. So you can say led a 5 designer team through pre-production, production, and then launch.
Okay.
And that's like, oh, this guy knows development cycles. He's led through all of that. And that's very appealing. Okay. We're coming up on the end here. So Aurora Game Studio, game design intern, built a paper prototype of a game. Describe the specifics. So I think with all of this, you need to describe specific things using keywords that jump out at you. So game systems, items, weapons, abilities. You used to be a storyboarder or used to do storyboards. So I'm looking for keywords within what you've done. You have the knowledge, you have the experience. Now I'm just really trying to grasp the keywords so I can understand what systems you've touched, which concepts you've put into effect, how you manage stuff, how you lead stuff. So I would look at applications and see the keywords that they use within their applications and be like, hey, I've done this. I can use this to market myself. That's how I go about that. Okay, game and level design degree. Okay, and then I would put the years on this. Or maybe you don't need to. But it feels vacant. So probably put the years that you attended the college and got the degree. And then you've actively been doing work since you've graduated school. So they're not going to ask you, well, okay, well, why is this gap? Why is this gap between, you getting educated in game design and then now you're trying to actively apply for AAA companies? It's like, no, I've actually been doing stuff, dude. So you have leverage there.
Okay.
So all in all, just to kind of like wrap up my opinions on this, you already have great work. You have work better than most people, even in the industry. So you have the content. You just have to market yourself through technical game designer, explain yourself down here a little bit more, change my task to achievements and the results that we talked about. And then on your portfolio, get rid of this homepage. You don't need it. Your projects page speaks for itself. I'm going to click on this because it looks badass. It looks awesome. Go through this. I don't want to click on everything. Make this all one page. Just make me just have to scroll down. That's awesome. You have gameplay footage. You can check. You can show systems and mechanics that you've designed for the game. You have trailers and champion breakdowns. Your about page. Make sure that you have your picture on here so that we can have your face in the space and then read this, and then we know how those two connect. This is all great. This is good. And then remember, overall, do try out a design where you kind of bring in those bounds in your web page to make those focus. But all in all, man, you have the content. It looks very professional. Work on trying to figure out what you can do for like the visa and everything. But all in all, man, this is a badass profile already. You have badass content. You've actively led a team and have made high quality polished content. So you really just have to figure out the logistics on the back end with what it would take for you to get hired by a AAA studio, but even remotely. Okay.
Thank you.
So before we wrap up, if you do have any questions for me before we move on to the 3 questions that you have to ask, do you want to say anything?
Everything is clear. You explained very well.
Okay, cool. So if you have 3 questions that you want to ask me, you can do so right now.
Yes. Um, are there any skills my portfolio is lacking, maybe, or on my resume for technical design roles in a AAA industry?
Okay. So I would say I don't know. And that's specifically because the pages weren't laid out for me to understand what you do know.
Okay.
So once you make all of that into just one solid movement of text, then I can be like, oh, he's done this, he's done that. So your product, I mean, your projects are set up to where you're marketing the project and you do it damn well, but it's very hard to find the information that actually says, hey, no, this is what he's done. This is the grand feats that he's achieved. And so just show me that. And so
Okay.
even through giving a breakdown, I don't get a good glimpse of your skill level because that information wasn't readily available. So make that crystal clear and concise.
Okay. Another question I had is I have no project on Unreal Engine. And I feel that it may be a stop for some recruiters, as a lot of AAA company works on Unreal. Do you think I should focus more on personal projects on Unreal Engine?
Just dabble in it. If a game engine is just a tool, and do you know C++?
I don't. I know Blueprint.
Okay. C# is powerful. I don't know C++ that much. I've dabbled in it. C# taught me all I need to know about programming to get the job done for the roles that I've been in so far. So
Okay.
I have no reason to necessarily know C++ like the back of my hand. I do work in it at work sometimes. But Unreal Engine has visual scripting, which is a very different element of, if you're going for AAA, there is some visual scripting elements inside of AAA, but a lot of it is still like programming language. So C#, that should get you far. So what I would say about Unreal is dabble in it a little bit, get familiar with it, know how to make something in it, but you don't have to make another full-fledged project in Unreal to be able to gain those skills. At the end of the day, a game engine is just a tool used to make the game, and each company that you would work at has its own proprietary game engine and different ways that they do things. So you're going to have to relearn an engine anyways once you get hired on. So just have working knowledge of Unreal, know how to navigate around stuff, know about Blackboard, AI, mechanics, animations, visual effects systems. Just make a project by yourself. You love to prototype. This should be easy for you. Get your shoes dirty, and then you'll be fine. But no need to make a full-fledged project in Unreal. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me. You answered my other questions when you looked at my portfolio.
My first impressions.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, I said you answered my other questions when you looked at my profile.
Oh, what questions do I have about looking at your profile for the first time?
Yes.
There's something I'm not catching in your accent, so explain it to me one more time, and then I'll try to get it this time.
I had other questions,
Mm-hmm.
but you answered it when you looked at my profile.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Okay.
No, my accent is not the best one.
Oh no, it's completely fine. It's just I have a hard time reading some type of like, I don't even know what you want to call them. There's some letters that just kind of completely skip past me, so it's fine.
Yes.
But yeah, all in all, Max, thank you for coming online, doing this in front of the chat, and a lot of people. But overall, man, like, you have a phenomenal portfolio, and you're a technical designer at that, so you're already very skillful. You just need to tell me what exactly what you're capable of for you, not your product. But phenomenal work, and as a lead, you're leading these teams, doing great things, so good on you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this, because it helped a lot.
Of course, my pleasure. So with that said, we can go ahead and end your review right here, and then everybody in the chat, thank y'all for coming out tonight. Thank y'all for being interactive and, showing support to Max and Michael and, giving some tips here and there. So awesome. Thank y'all for being here. And then hopefully, if y'all want to get in the hot seat, then I will probably be opening this up for another weekend because I think people like this. And I think this is a really good educational tool in order to teach people and also get clarity on other people's portfolios. Like, you're a technical designer. This is pretty much a staple technical designer portfolio in terms of quality and polish. So I'm actually probably going to use your portfolio to be like, hey, this is what other technical designers are doing if they have, been out of college for 3 years. Like, you've had some time, and I'm not going to show this to recent graduates, because you've had time to grow and hone your skills. But for the people that have been out of college for a certain amount of years, you would be like, hey, this is your competition. So you're doing great things. You're going to do great things. You're already doing great things.
Thank you.
But with that, we're going to end right here. Max, thank you for being here in the hot seat.
Thank you.
And then Michael, if you're still around the chat, thank you for being here as well. And then until next time, y'all, see y'all. Subscribe to my content on LinkedIn. Go ahead and hit that like button if y'all haven't already. Catch me on LinkedIn. I've been making posts at a faster rate recently. Hopefully that'll give y'all the knowledge that y'all need to succeed. And then I'll be coming with more content this week. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your all support. And then hold up. Wait a minute. Let me see. I am 4 followers away from 6,000 followers. Can I get 4 more followers tonight before the night ends? If y'all are in this chat and y'all haven't followed me, help me hit that 6,000 mark right now. But I love doing this for y'all. Until the next episode, I'll see y'all later. Catch y'all.